Hey friends, Caleb Townsend, co-founder of Factor here. We are back to talk further about division of labor in the sales process. And let's do a quick recap. So division of labor is breaking down a system into separate parts. And the idea behind that is that you can identify efficiency gains, you can identify things you can automate or delegate. And we like to think of the sales process a lot like a manufacturing process. And when you look at the division of labor in any process, you are to identify constraints or bottlenecks and improve overall efficiency. When we outlined the sales process last month, we talked about data, marketing, close, onboarding, and customer management. These are all 5 steps of the sales process. Or we are going to highlight the data building part of the sales process. Specifically, when you talk about data, the goal is that you're going to have all the ideal prospects in your database. You would have every single company that's a potential prospect in your database for you to do marketing activities towards. It's kind of like managing inventory if you look at a manufacturing plant. Not only the company data, but also decision makers within those organizations or contact data. You would have both the company and the contact data. The typical constraint that we see at Factor working in our referral roundtables is that sales builds out their own database. And this takes a lot of time. And boldly, I would say, typically, the skill sets that salespeople have that make them good at connecting with people and presenting solutions to problems, identifying problems, prospecting. Those skill sets typically I wouldn't think would also make them good at data mining. I could be wrong, but that is one assumption I'm going to make today. We want to get sales people away from building their own database, and if you are building it, that you do it really efficiently. Ideally, you would have a data scientist, and that is a thing, but you would have a data scientist within your organization to do all this, to delegate it to, but a lot of you probably don't. Let's talk about what Factor provides. Use our Factor account research form. It's a pretty simple process. If you haven't done this, you fill out the SIC codes that are potential prospects for you. You check the box of up to 4 states, and after you submit that, it usually takes us a couple weeks. It depends on how backed up our admin team is. They will give you that company data. We don't give it to you all up front. We give it to you parsed out over 36 months typically. Once you know who you are prospecting, we help you find out the contact data. And that's a simple process. I'll go over it really quick. You can open up the Factor app, click on the events tab. This is where you register for your events, like this referral roundtable, and then find the link for the next meeting. It's the same link every month. For example, in the Louisville group here, the prospect submission form. So you put that in there. That serves 2 purposes. It's the prospects you asked to be referred to, and it also is the company that we do contact data research for you. Now, why does a referral roundtable, why does an organization like Factor do this for you? 1, we've got a good database. We want to help equip you. But 2, we just found that a lot of companies, a lot of salespeople don't have good data on their prospects. Once you click on that link, this form will pop up, you'll complete it, and then we'll get you that information following the meeting. Let's talk real quick about paying for databases. It's been a while since we've done this. If I was starting fresh on this, G2 is a great website to find software providers, any kind of technology platforms you can find on the website g2.com. And specific search here would be account data management software. Reference USA is also a great place to find data. Now, what I have found is that this data is dirty, meaning that it's out of date. There are some contact data too in Reference USA. You will make phone calls to dead people if you call on Reference USA. Also, your local government website may have information on manufacturing databases such as Kentucky. So Kentucky's got a lot of great info. Here's an example of a website. Before you buy, make sure there's lots of filter options, not lost of filter options, but lots of filter options, and make sure it works with your CRM. Now would be a great time to pause the video and talk about what databases have you purchased with success and what have you purchased without success? Let's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a great place to find company prospects, but it is a place to find company prospects. Go to the search bar and click on companies, and you can filter them by geography, industry, and company size. You can also use keywords such as plastic injection molders or packaging facilities. You can also click on this tab, pages people also viewed, and you'll find similar type companies. So if you're prospecting Caterpillar, you click on pages people also viewed, you'll see some more prospects. I'm using an example of a very large company, but smaller companies, this works too as well. The problem with LinkedIn is the industry classifications aren't very good, but it is a free tool that you can use. It just takes a lot of manual work. Now, while you're using LinkedIn, there's a lot of Google Chrome extensions that bolt onto LinkedIn or that overlay on LinkedIn that you can use to find more information on companies, more information on contacts. For example, I haven't used this, but this reminds me a lot of the Contact Out Google Chrome extension or the Hunter Google Chrome extension that we have used in the past. There's always these pop up on the market. They get shut down and another one pops up. But check out pipileads.com. And it's a way to get email addresses from individual LinkedIn contact pages. Now, LinkedIn's a great way to find decision makers once you have a prospect narrowed in, a company prospect, but you already know how to do that. We're not gonna talk too much about that. LinkedIn, it's a resource, not the best one. Now would be a great time to pause the video and talk about ways you use LinkedIn to build out lists. Let's talk about using ThomasNet. Shout out real quick to my friend Michelle Mishler, factor member in the Dayton, Ohio group. Michelle is a certified Thomas partner. I have used ThomasNet to help build out a list. Traditionally, ThomasNet has been a platform for manufacturers to find suppliers. ThomasNet's not going to be a great list to find OEM manufacturers, but more contract and job shop manufacturers. For example, if you want to find metal stamping shops in a certain geography, ThomasNet could be a good solution. Go on thomasnet.com, type in the type of supplier that you want. You can sort that down by a geographical radius and or a state. There you go, you have a list. Now you're going to have to do a lot of manual work extracting that data out of ThomasNet, but hey, it is a way to build out a list. Check out thomasnet.com for specialty list building. Lastly, and this is something I really want to recommend, delegate to people on upwork.com. There are specialty list builders on Upwork. Now would be a great time to pause the video and anyone share if they have used tools like upwork.com to delegate any type of task, but specifically building out a list. This person specifically specializes in prepping for trade shows. So he will go out, find the exhibitors, find the people who are going to be running booths, get the email addresses, whatever contact info you want them to do, put it in a Google Sheet and share it with you. So this is something that we've done to prep for shows is we have a virtual assistant go look at the exhibitors, find who's going to represent those companies, get all their info, connect with them on LinkedIn using our LinkedIn profile saying, looking forward to meeting you at the show. Then you come in the show that much more prepped. Delegate list building as much as possible. Lastly, wrapping up, data building, it can be a huge time suck. I highly recommend finding tools, using software, buying lists, taking advantage of factory resources, and delegating when possible to virtual assistants or internal people to build out a sales list, and you can focus on the next step in the process, and that is marketing. Hopefully you got a nugget or two. We'll see you next month.